In my last video, I talked about FF14's existing jobs that could see the light of the day, including the Geomancer that I would really love to see come out. The thing is, supposedly, Yoshi P said that they don't intend to make jobs that exist in the Final Fantasy franchise anymore and create new ones. I don't know if they plan to keep to their word, but with the patch 6.45, there's already something hinting toward a potential new class, the Onmyoji. Before talking about it though, I will overview quickly some of the comments that I had on the previous video. A lot of you suggested the Blitzball job. Granting I've not gone further than 6.2 in the main story quest yet, I assume I'm missing a clue as a lot mentioned it. It's supposedly not an actual job as it's a mini-game in Final Fantasy X, so who knows? Some of you also mentioned that Necromancer is very unlikely to come out because it's too evil and bad in the Japanese culture and FF14 lore. I agree that as a way of light reviving the dead might be so-so. Though, at the same time the game feels free to make us murderous serial killers and sociopaths. So, there's a few other things mentioned in the comments, one including the ninja still doesn't share its gear with any other jobs, so it would be logical that it gets to share it with another job sometime soon. Is that where the Blitzball comes in? But in general, I have a feeling that we'll be getting 2 DPS this expansion, and we only have 3 range physical and 3 range magical if we don't count the limited job Blue Mage. But it's hard to speculate on that. Now though, let's talk about the potential job that might come out in 7.0. In 6.45, a new Criterion dungeon came out, Mount Rokon. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything major. When you start unlocking it, you get to meet an Onmyoji. Now you might wonder, what is that? It comes from the Japanese folklore. There are special people in ancient Japan who knows magic and uses it to predict the future, talk to spirits, and protect others. Dead spirits can also be known as yokais, and you've known a lot of them. Even out of FF14, you very likely heard of Kyuubi, the nine-tailed fox. Whether you heard it from Naruto, Pokemon, or whatever, it is a direct reference to the Japanese folklore. There's an amazing gacha game that resolved around the folklore, although not really accurate, called Onmyoji, ironically. And even in FF14, you crossed a bunch of them. Otengu, Hanya, Kamaitachi, Nurikabe, Otakemaru. It was a huge part of Stormblood, which kind of lives up to the Hingashi Japanese themes I went for. Now, to get back to why I'm talking about it is, with the Mount Rokon came a lot of items, including a mount that looks like a lantern, Chochinobake. It is really amusing, and if you play the gacha Onmyoji, you might be as excited as I am. And the introduction quest is called Mononoke, which basically is Revengeful Spirits. Once again, the yokais. Now, if it was a class, a lot of what they do sounds like Astrologian, but also could be like Bard, a support magic DPS. But what's interesting is a modern interpretation tends to make them a bit different. They can summon and control spirits, yokais, or other supernatural creatures. They can manipulate elements like fire, water, wind, and earth. They can seal and bind, which in the beginning of Mount Rokon, they lift a seal to open a portal, barrier, ward, teleport, astral projection, banishing or purifying, healing, illusions, and time manipulation. So needless to say that with such a large amount of powers that has been granted in the mangas and games, it could have a very interesting aspect in FF14. So what do you think? Would you like to see it as a class? Or do you have any suspicions from a potential job that isn't part of the Final Fantasy franchise? That's it for the video. Since you stayed until the end, I would really appreciate if you could like and comment, even more if you subscribe to me as well. Thank you so much, I hope you have a great day, see you, bye.